What's up, everyone? Welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about the movie The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle from 2000. But before we do that, I want to first talk to you about what the movie was based on. And the movie itself was based on the cartoon show, which aired from 1959 up until 1964. The TV show was created by a man named Jay Ward, and the show itself was known for its puns, its cultural satires, and its self-referential humor. And the reason why it kind of took off in the beginning was because it appealed to a younger audience, but it had enough sort of humor and wordplay that it appealed to an older audience who could appreciate that specific kind of humor. Something that I want to note too that was very interesting about the original TV show, cartoon show, was that the animation was outsourced to animation studios located in Mexico. Now, I am not too. I was talking to Dom about this, about outsourcing and Disney animation studios, that kind of thing, and there's a number of reasons why animators, producers would choose to outsource the animation part, and I think largely it has to do with saving on production, because when you do that, you pay the studio, the animating studio, a flat fee, and then they have to take care of the other charges and the overhead, like paying for the animators themselves, the equipment that they would need. But as a result of Jay Ward outsourcing The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, there was a lot of mistakes. Colors were different, things were not drawn right on the characters, so it did come with a lot of, when you cut corners, you will find yourself with mistakes. But I think another reason why is to outsource is it's done faster. Just because I think when you have someone else working on it, they're not going to be as perfectionist as the person who's really wanting to get things right. But that's some of the few reasons. And another thing I want to say is that you could take literally a class, an entire course on The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. There is just so much information and background story about this show that you could actually take a course on this. But I'm just basically telling you and giving you a taste of some of the more important things about this show so that you can get a better appreciation for the table itself. So think of it that way. Don't try to think of it, if you want to read more about it, you can. This stuff is all from Wikipedia, but I just want to kind of frame the actual show first before I talk about the movie. So that was something that I thought was really interesting about it, especially since I've been talking to you guys about animation studios like Disney and practices that they do to save money. There's been some attempts to revive it in the 80s, but it largely failed. But actually, there's been a reboot that was done back in 2018 that is actually began on Amazon Prime Video. So in 2018, they did a reboot of the show, and they're working on another one. But there hasn't been any announcements made, formal announcements. But there is supposed to be another one, ongoing reboot in 2024. The other thing that I found out that was pretty interesting was that Zen Studios actually had a game based on this show from 2008 that was available on Xbox Live Arcade. So that's pretty cool to note, because that I play a lot of Pinball Effects from Zen Studios. And also there was games for the NES, the Game Boy, the Super Nintendo, even the Sega Genesis back in 92 and 93. Reruns aired on ABC, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, the Boomerang Network, and I think that's where I first was aware of this show, was from seeing it the reruns on Cartoon Network. But now let's talk about the movie itself, now that you have an understanding of the show that it's based on. So the movie, I think, aired 35 years after the cancellation of the show in 1964. And I think the reason why this movie is so unique is because it's a live action / animated film, and I think that's really cool. So they're basically taking the characters, the animated characters from the Rocky and Bullwinkle show, and bringing them to life in a 3D environment. And so the director Des McAnuff got some inspiration from the movie from 1988, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which I have not seen, but I know of it. So it's very similar, where you have these animated characters in a live action film. And I think what you really appreciate about this film is that, first, it's pretty fun. It's a slapstick comedy. But the film itself is kind of, poking fun of the actual show. It's making fun of itself in good nature. A lot of the themes that you see in the jokes and the puns relate to Hollywood, commercialism, the internet, a lot of wordplay. The show itself, the movie, the characters Rocky and Bullwinkle made fun of their own show, talking about how it was canceled, how the FCC, played a role in their cancellation. So it really pokes fun of itself. It, just pokes fun at Hollywood in general, and how, animation studios and production companies greenlight certain things. So that's what I really like about it. There was a lot of people who thought that it didn't do that well, even though it kept in, largely it kept in line with the original source material. I have not really seen any of the original TV shows, but I'm aware of them. I'm aware of the art, and but watching this movie is inspiring me to watch the original TV shows. It definitely underperformed at the box office, and I think largely from what I was reading was that it was mainly because it wasn't fresh enough for the younger audiences at the time, and it didn't have enough nostalgia for the baby boomers who grew up watching the show. Also, the movie has a lot of political undertones, which can be kind of cool. Even the plot itself about the movie is about the bad guy from the show, Fearless Leader, trying to hypnotize America, basically through bad television, to get to get them to vote for him, for him to become president. So you have a lot of the kind of politics behind it. The cast was huge. I mean, for a movie that didn't do that well, you had a lot of really big time actors. Robert De Niro playing the Fearless Leader, Jason Alexander playing Boris, Rene Russo playing Natasha. And so, that's just huge right there. Jason Alexander, I know him from Seinfeld. And then another thing that I want to mention is this movie had a huge, a lot of cameos. Like you had John Goodman as a cameo appearance, Whoopi Goldberg, Billy Crystal, James Rebhorn, who was in a lot of, he was in the Independence Day movie and a couple other movies from the 90s that I just watched. You even had Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell from the Kenan and Kel show. So it was great to see all the cameos and appearances from all those actors that I was familiar with, but sad to realize that it underperformed at the box office. End up losing a lot of money. But that is just, but I think it's one of the movies that will definitely become a cult classic if it's not already, because of just how awesome, um, not only how fun the movie is in itself, but the way that they incorporate the 3D, they bring the animated characters to life in 3D, which is really cool. And even watching it in 2024 is kind of like a mind-boggling, right? You're seeing these animated 2D characters come to life in 3D. And so the movie also pokes fun at CGI itself, because CGI was used to make this movie, and then in the movie they had something called the bad guys, Boris and Natasha, were using an instrument called the CDI, the computer degenerating imagery, to bring the Rocky and Bullwinkle back to their original form in 2D. So there's a lot of cultural and popular references, because this came out in 2000, and so the internet was starting to become big. So if you see this movie, you'll see that there's a lot of references to the internet, surfing the internet, the commercialism, the rapid growth of the .com era. There's a scene where Bullwinkle is surfing through the internet, and you see all these websites like Best Buy, and you even see like fast food chains, and so that was kind of an interesting point for the movie. Another thing too that I want to say is the creators of the movie wanted to keep they wanted Rocky and Bullwinkle to have 3D movement and motion, so they were largely done in 3D with 3D models, and they used cell shaded techniques to kind of keep their cartoony nature, which I thought was really cool. Like when I was watching, they don't really look like they're 3D CGI products. They really look like what they would look like if they came to life. If they were, if that was possible to do. So they kept that cartoony appearance. And another thing that was interesting that I was reading was that Roger Ebert, who was a very tough film critic, gave this movie 3 out of 4 stars. He just thought it was fun as well, and he enjoyed, the satire and the puns. You see a lot of puns in the movie. So if you're a fan of that, you're a fan of wordplay, definitely give this a watch. We've already talked about the reboot from Amazon in 2018, and there have been numerous reruns. I've already talked about that on ABC, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Boomerang. But yeah, there's a lot of, if you just look at the Wikipedia page, you can see so much stuff and information. Oh, another thing too that I forgot to mention was the original voice actress of Rocky, the squirrel, was played by June Foray in this movie. So that was pretty cool to see her come back to voice the squirrel Rocky. But I don't want to go too much into, because there's so much, in terms of where this, in terms of advertising. But I'm just scrolling through here, and it says, in the 1990s, Rocky and Bullwinkle appeared in some ads for Taco Bell, where they ate real tacos by stopping Boris and Natasha from selling burgers. So, you can scroll through the Wikipedia article and see a lot of things. Also, I want to mention that there was a movie in 1992 that was released called Boris and Natasha, the movie, which is a live-action feature film based on the 2 villains from the show. Yeah, just a lot. There's even toys. Mattel released toys. So a lot of, you could, like I say, you could take a course in this, but I just want to give you a history, a brief history, so that you can appreciate the table. And now, follow me. We'll play the 1993 Data East pinball table based on the cartoon show, not the movie. So meet me there. What's up, guys? Welcome to the pinball portion of this feature. So as you know, this table was from Data East, released in 1993, and a lot of the artwork and all the things that you see on the playfield are in reference to the actual show from the early 60s. And one of the cool things about this table is that there's actually a mechanical backbox animation. You can see it here where Bullwinkle is pulling stuff out of his hat, and so when you play the game, when you start it up, he'll pull, like, I think he'll pull 3 things from the hat, and which is pretty cool. So let's go here.
I gotta get another hat. Hooray!
Okay, I gotta put in.
You Mr. Know-it-all.
Oh, let's go here. And I'm curious if you guys are like fans of the show or even the movie. Have you guys seen the movie or the reboot even? Oh, come on. Or have you ever played the games that were released in the 90s?
Hello, I'll be in TV land.
Skill shot, Super Pops, let's go. It just reminds me so much. I think I was actually reading that The Simpsons and Rocko's Modern Life got their inspiration, some of their inspiration from The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. So if you ever notice like similarities, you can definitely see that in a little bit of the artwork, the style. But that's something that I found out reading. I forgot to mention it in the earlier part, but yes, a lot of shows got their inspiration from this this early TV show. So you got Replay at 300 million. We are nowhere near that.
Hello, 40,000.
And I say this before, but for as cute as this table is, it's very tough. It's not very beginner friendly, I gotta say. Played it a few times. I think I have 3 videos on my channel for it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this Pinball and Movie feature. I didn't want to go too much on the pinball because I have enough videos for it, and I wanted to focus more on the cultural aspects of Rocky and Bullwinkle and the movie from 2000. So hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Till next time, I'll catch you guys later. Take care. Thank you as always for watching.